Gather round, Kidmin leaders, and be encouraged and equipped as you build the kingdom. Now here's your host, Amber Pike.
Welcome back to the Kidmin Huddle. We're talking today about maximizing your midweek. So, do you have midweek services? And if so, do you do it on Wednesday or Thursday? I have found that that is a regional thing. In Kentucky, most all midweeks are Wednesday evenings. Northern states, a lot of you guys are doing it on Thursday. So, Wednesday or Thursday, when do you do your midweek? Personally, I think midweek can be a little bit hard. You are competing with a lot when it comes to kids and sports. I know back when I was a kid, it was kind of hands off on Wednesday night. That was church night. So there weren't a lot of practices and school functions. Things weren't scheduled on Wednesday because people were expected that they would be at church. Not so much now. It is very, very, very common for a lot of sports things around here to be on Wednesday. Like that's the one day a week they're picking. So kids are inconsistent. They have other things that they are doing, especially when you get into summer. I have found summer is especially hard. My first church canceled during the summer because the people weren't there. And honestly, I like that. As opposed to my last church did not cancel in summers. And some summers, it was my kids and one other kid. Um, Midweek is hard just because of the inconsistency, the competition with things. And then sometimes you have really exhausted kids. Those first couple weeks of school with your littles, especially, whew, you can tell they are not used to sitting in school for 8 hours a day. So attention, hunger depending on when you start. Maybe if mom and dad are working, they don't have time to feed the kids and get there in time. Last church, we had a meal, but it wasn't great. So I had hungry kids and I needed to have snacks beforehand because they were hungry and you don't focus so well or behave so well when you're hungry. But midweek also has a lot of opportunities. What kind of opportunities are we talking about? Well, you've got some kids that you potentially don't have on Sundays. Maybe they are kids from a different church. Maybe their church doesn't have a midweek program and yours rocks. So you've got some different kids. There's also more friends that get brought. Wednesdays, I would get so many more friends than I would on Sundays. They come home after school, they had a play date, mom was, picking up the friends' kids, so they came to church together. So you might get some friends coming on Wednesday versus not on Sunday. I have found sometimes the kids are more awake. So maybe your Wednesdays got a little more energy or there's a little more conversation. Sometimes it's the flip where they're a little sleepier because they're tired from school. So that just kind of depends on your kid. Potentially, you have a longer amount of time. I would have parents dropping off way early. Wednesday was always my work day at church. So I would go in, around 10 in the morning and I would be there through the end of church. I would stop and go get my kids and, take a 20-minute break to go grab the kids and maybe some food. But it was a long day for me, and parents knew this. And unfortunately, the ones who were serving that day would just drop off their kids, sometimes like 2 hours early, and be like, well, Miss Amber will watch them. Whether you have that or not, which you should put some rules in place to not have that, by the way, you do potentially have a longer time just with pickup, drop off. It's not the multiple services that you have on Sunday. Even if you're just looking in your traditional, Sunday school church, there's less time before or after, as I found there is on Wednesdays. And I think that opportunity for relationship building is a lot bigger just because it's more relaxed. There might be more time. Kids are a little more open, especially if numbers are lower. I think when numbers are lower, you have more time to build relationships. So, yes, midweek is hard, can be challenging, but it's also an amazing opportunity. So, let's dive into maximizing some of these midweek opportunities and really making midweek a win for you guys. One, let's talk about maximizing relationships. I think ministry happens best out of relationship. If I don't have a relationship with you, but I'm telling you what you need to do to live according to God's rules to honor and glorify Him, do you really care what I have to say if you feel like I don't care about you? Not so much. Relationship is key to ministry. If we are talking with adults, it's key. But when we're talking about kids, it's key too. Kids need to know that they are loved by you. It is a felt need for them to be seen, known, and loved. Relationships need to be formed. They need to be intentionally cultivated and grown. And Wednesdays, great time to do this. I could give you story after story on building relationships. One of my first kiddos at my last church, he was struggling. And mom and dad had told me, hey, he's struggling. Here's why. I knew I needed to connect with him to keep him engaged in church. So that first Wednesday, we played a literal game of basketball. I found a laundry basket and a beach ball. And that next week, he was drawing me pictures of he and I playing. That relationship was formed because I took the time to talk to him, connect with him, play something he was into. I'm not a sports person. I can play sports, at least I could, pre-kids. But I met him on his level. I engaged with him. I had some fun with him, and a relationship was formed. I have another kid who was there early because mom was working at the church doing something, and he spent like 30 minutes giving me a tutorial on his game. I did not care about this particular game. I think it was Zelda, maybe. And I knew all about it, and he was showing me, and I mean, not a video game person. But man, the fact that a preteen boy sat with me that long and wanted to show me his game because there's a relationship. Take the time to build some relationships in your midweek. This could look like using your pre-service. Maybe you are going to have some stations that kids can go and join, like Legos. What kid doesn't love Legos or Magnetiles or big rolls of butcher paper over the table so you have really big paper to draw on? Sit down there with the kids. Prep your lesson, your stuff, get everything ready to where during that drop off time, let's say 20 minutes, that you're able to be there and connect with the kids. Play with them, build with them, draw pictures with them, hang out with them. And then the intentional part of that relationship building is talk to them. Yes, you're probably going to ask, how was school today? Well, when they give you it was fine. What else can you talk about? What do you know about their lives? Because kids are pretty much, most of them, they're open books. They want to talk and let you in on their lives. Well, the other part of talking is listening. So if you have been building relationship with them and you're listening, so follow up. Hey, how did whatever go this week? Your report. Did you have fun at your sleepover last week? Whatever they said to you, how they told you about it. Did you beat that level in your game? Did you make the basketball team? Talk with them. If you run out of ideas, make a list of silly questions. Maybe you're going to have some questions up on the screen each week, and the goal is to ask as many kids this question, and their goal is to ask as many other kids this question too. So it could be, if you had a superpower, what superpower would it be? If you could meet one person from the Bible, who would you want to meet? What ice cream flavor is your favorite? They might just seem like silly questions, but you're breaking down some walls. You are building relationship. As you are learning about them, they also are getting to learn about you. Any kid who has ever been in my ministry knows I have a really big phobia. Snakes. I'm terrified of snakes, not just scared of snakes, but legit phobia. I went through a phase when I was middle school, maybe just before middle school, maybe like, fourth, fifth grade. I was terrified there was going to be a snake in my house, and I had to check behind my bed 3 times. There had never, ever been a snake in my house that I know of, and let's keep it that way. But I was so scared. I had a phobia. I can't look at them. If they're on TV, can't watch them. If they are at my house, I call my dad, and he takes care of it. Even the dead ones on the road, he takes care of it because legit phobia. My kids know this. All of my ministry kids know this. Some of them would threaten to mess with me, and they're like, I'm going to bring a toy snake to camp. And I'm like, want to bet? Because I will make your free time miserable if you do that. No one ever did, by the way. Build relationship with the kids. Midweek is a great time to do that. Just the feel of midweek is different. The time is different. Build relationships, because in ministry, relationships matter. Another thing that we should be maximizing on midweek is teaching time. This is a whole nother opportunity for us to teach. So your setup could look, a lot of different ways. Some people will have the same lesson series Sunday morning and Wednesday night, and some will have separate lesson series. So I'm running a Sunday series and I'm running a Wednesday series. Honestly, I have done it both ways. For many, many, many years, I ran a separate series on Wednesdays. My Sunday kids, because I had kids who were just Sundays, would be consistent that way and get hit the Sunday series. My Wednesday kids, I had some who just came on Wednesdays and not on Sundays, would then get all of their series, pending, they all show up. There are benefits and drawbacks to both. So do what works for you. I don't think there is a right or a wrong answer here. I don't think it hurts a kid to miss a lesson because let's face it, most kids are not there every single lesson, anyways. I don't think it's a bad thing to have separate ones. I don't think it's a bad thing to have the same. I landed towards the end where I liked having the same one on Sundays and Wednesdays. So I'm writing my own lessons and I would write longer series. And part of the reason I did this is for decorations. I could have the same decor theme and not feel like weird that I have I did a candy themed one. So I didn't feel weird that I would have candy up if that was a Sunday only and it didn't match with Wednesday. So I did it partially for decoration, partially because I got tired of writing two separate things. And I really like that consistency. So you pick, are you running the same one on Sundays and Wednesdays, or are you running separately? Whatever your decision is, though, how you doing it? Are you using all of those really good teaching tools, tips? Are you engaging kids? Are you going deeper on Wednesdays? Are you making it interactive? I think Wednesdays we need, or sorry, midweek, if you're a Thursday person, I think we need to be a little more interactive. Just the kids need it. Keep in mind, they've been in school all day. Your homeschool kids, maybe not, but any public or Christian school kids, they've been at school for a lot of days. Whether they are more awake or a little more tired, they got some wiggles. So use game time intentionally. Use movement intentionally. I do a lot of four corners, a lot of stand up, sit down, move to this side, go to that side as a teaching tool. So we're on Joseph, let's say. I'm going to ask my questions. Okay, if you think Joseph was the oldest brother, move to this side of the room. If you don't, move to the other side. However you're going to do it, engage them in the lesson, make it engaging, get them up out of their seats, figure out how they can be involved in the story. Maybe it's acting it out. Maybe that's a special Wednesday thing and you do an acting piece each Wednesday. Maybe you're going to have a science experiment that goes with the lesson. However you're doing it, don't phone it in on midweek, even if you have low numbers. That was always a challenge me, small church. Wednesdays, especially certain things in the year, depending on the timing or the season or what was going on in the local school systems or the particular schools, I might just have a handful of kids. I might have like two kids. I can't phone it in, even if I don't have a lot of kids. So still give it your all, making your teaching time awesome, remembering that that's really the purpose of church. It's not to have fun. It's not to have open gym time on Wednesdays. I have seen that done. I have a problem with that, honestly. If you are using your 1 hour of church time to just have open gym, because, well, the kids love it. Sure, the kids would love a lot of things that I'm not going to give them. Make it intentional, make it fun, do all those great things. Definitely check out past episodes of the Kidmin Huddle. I talk about teaching time a lot, and I'm going to keep doing it because I love talking about teaching time. Use your hour, hour and a half, whatever midweek time you have, use it well, doing some great teaching. So whether you're doing a separate Sunday series to your midweek or the same, I do want to mention that we at Renew a Nation have been working on writing our curriculum line. We still don't have a name. If you got a name, hit me up. Give me some examples. Give me some options. But we have just completed enough lessons that we have basically a whole year of your midweek. This is assuming that you take off for summer or Christmas break. Definitely, you're not doing 52 weeks of midweek, I'm going to bet. So we have enough for a full year of midweek. Very systematic. It starts with the Bible. No, I'm sorry. It starts with who God is, moves on to the Bible, who Jesus is, the story of the Bible. We've got an Easter series. I'm teaching the Easter one, The Journey to the Cross, right now on Sunday. But the newest one that we just released is the church. And so we're covering worship, we're covering baptism, we're covering communion. Really great series. Definitely go check out church.renewination.org. It's a different curriculum in that it's not a script that is read. It is apologetics based. What is the world telling us? What lies the world telling us versus what is God's truth showing us? We are in the Bible, we are reading the Bible. You've got all of your proofs to teach the lesson. You're crafting it because God has called you to teach, and all your activities are intentional. There is not fluff for the sake of fluff. They are good intentional things that are going to help teach the lesson, review the lesson, help grow them in their faith. And there's a parent component where there's a newsletter, or not a newsletter, sorry, a take home paper, a little devotion that gets families in God's word. It's that, 3 minute, 5 minute in the Bible, talk a question or two, just good, solid, but easy peasy. So check that out if you're looking for a new midweek or Sunday option. All right, so we're working on our relationships in midweek. We are maximizing our teaching time. The other thing that I think is an opportunity at midweek time is events, especially if you are struggling with attendance. Host some events during your midweek. Now, I am a big fan of doing things when I already have people at church. Life is busy. I can say with confidence, I've never once scheduled a Christmas event, like a party or something like that, outside of church time. I personally don't want to add something else in December. I know my families don't either. So I do midweek Christmas party. That was my last church. I didn't do a Christmas party with these kids. We had a cool Sunday school event. But midweek is a great option because people are already at church. Or you can add some stuff to your existing programming to make it a little extra exciting for kids. So maybe you're having a pajama party night and you're doing your regular lesson. You can just wear pajamas. Did that once, gave me an excuse to buy a unicorn onesie pajama. It was great, except it was really oddly proportioned. But it's fun. So I've got a purple pajama onesie because we did pajama night. And I've done tie-dye night and water parties and just different things that you can add in to drum up some excitement. Totally fun idea. But you could also host events, either kids events or family events in your midweek services that can go along with your lessons in addition to your same theme. So tie-dye was an example. I was really just my last year at my church, I was struggling to get good attendance on Wednesdays. It was inconsistent. We were low. How do I attract more of my kids to come and be excited? So I did wacky Wednesday kind of themes. And one night was going to be a tie-dye night. Wear tie-dye. I personally have a lot of tie-dye things. My kids do too, just from years of VBS and camp and all that. Well, I created a whole tie-dye event. So it was wear tie-dye, but then we had a tie-dye praise party and all of the things that whole night. The lesson was tie-dye themed, and we ended up making, I didn't want to do a shirt, right? Because kids have shirts. So we ended up making tie-dye pillowcases. And there was an application with prayer and thinking about like when our heads hit the pillow and stuff. It was very fun. So I made a whole event just because I wanted an event on midweek. And it was tie-dye. I've done, which by the way, is on my website, amberpike.org. If you want a cool tie-dye event, I highly recommend it. Super fun. I love tie-dyeing. I did a glow party once on a Wednesday and we made glow in the dark stars for something. I've done Lego nights where the whole lesson was Lego themed. I've done Christmas in July and put up the Christmas tree and had Christmas games. There are so many different options that you can do to add an event aspect, a fun aspect, while still having that good, meaty lesson application in God's Word. I did a family Nerf night once in our Wednesday night. We had moms and dads, kids, teens, everybody. We had a ton of Nerf guns at my last church, and we had a whole Nerf battle. And there was an application and a devotion part that parents were leading their kids in during this. I've done a water night where every water game was intentional. And there is a aspect, we're in God's Word, we're talking about it, and it had an overarching theme. Absolutely. Super fun. It kind of creates some excitement, especially in those summer months when I think midweek just kind of drags. So there's a couple of ideas for you. I would love to hear, what are you doing that is a win for your midweek? Where are your struggles for midweek? How are you building relationships? What are you teaching? What kind of events or fun aspects are you adding into midweek? Send me a message, comment on social media, send me an email, apike@renewation.org or apike0292@gmail.com. Remember your why. Because on those low days when kids aren't coming, when everyone picked sports over church, when the kids are extra, extra squirrely and nobody's listening and you're questioning, why am I doing this? Remember the why. Because these boys and girls need to know the truths of God's word. Because you've been called to disciple, not babysit, not chaperone open gym time. You've been called to disciple. God has gifted you, called you, placed you where you are so that you can teach his truths to these boys and girls. So you can help give them a foundation built on the word to where they can stand for Jesus in this crazy, crazy world. Midweek is one of those opportunities. It is full of challenges and opportunities to disciple boys and girls. So make your midweek count, each and every minute, from the early drop-offs that were dropped off way too early, your pre-service, lesson time, pickup time, even cleanup. Use every one of those midweek minutes to disciple boys and girls. And remember, what you do matters.